Hey everyone, welcome back. So today's video I wanted to do a walkthrough of the planner I just finished setting up. I had a sneak peek slash flip through of it on Instagram and I figured I'd give you a closer look. So this is actually a lot like the last version that I showed you with the new inserts that I ordered. Plus I pulled in some extra things out of the half letter disc bound that I was using. I just printed them at a larger size. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I just have some pictures here in the front. I actually don't remember where I got this from. It might be Poi and Hun. The majority of the dated inserts, well, let me rephrase that. So half the dated inserts are plum paper and the other half are Happy Planner. So I have the standard beginning pages here, 2022 at the beginning, and I circled pay dates in pencil. Since part of my job involves putting payroll into the system, I wanted to make sure I had that noted down. I'm using the special dates where it has the months just as kind of a pre-planning sort of thing, because you'll notice I only have 3 to 4 months in here at a time. So this gives me a chance to see kind of what's coming up big picture. So birthdays and then larger events that I'm probably traveling for. I am not using this section yet. I don't know what I will use that for. These dashboard divider things are from Happy Planner. A lot of this stuff I pulled out of my stash, so these may or may not still be available. So just as a word of caution. I did print my own table of contents. If you watch the half letter disc flip through, this probably looks very familiar. I made this in Canva. I did change a few of the categories just to kind of fit what I'm doing right now. So here I have from the anchoredwomen.com website, I have a prayer calendar. And then from the Anchored Life Club, I have the last week of November and then all of December's like Bible study. That's what it is. All right, so the next section I'm using the My Home divider from Plum Paper, but I have other things behind the tab. So this probably looks familiar. I just reprinted my cleaning routine from the Organized Mum method at a larger size. And for some of these pages that I flip to fairly often, I put a page flag. I actually stole a lot of these from my half letter and just put them in here so that way I can quickly flip to them. So I have that. I have kind of a note page. This is a half letter size. I actually just trimmed like the bottom 1/4 inch off and it fits okay in here being punched. I rewrote things to tackle during Focus Fridays, so I have that list here. There is a home projects page, which I guess technically I could put these here, but they're not really projects. It's just kind of a list of things that are bugging me in the house that I want to take care of when I'm working in that area next. The next page, I have these clipped together. I have a budget. This is one that I put together. I have a similar one in my Etsy shop. I am actually, side note, and I'll make a bigger announcement about it, I am getting ready to redo all of my inserts and kind of change fonts and things like that. So if you've been eyeballing the current ones and you really like the current fonts and everything like that, now's the time to go get those, because I will probably relaunch everything at the beginning of next year. So just so you have that in mind. This next section is my goal section. So just kind of show you where we are. We've gone through parent study, home, we're in goals and projects right now. So I have my values. I have my rule of life, which is something I created as a part of the Daughters of the King. I have my annual goals. These are actually my goals for 2023. They're pretty much ones that I've already am using, so I went ahead and just put next year's in here. And if you haven't watched my video talking about why I'm not doing annual goals, I'm actually using intentions for 2023. So that's what these are. And I've modified them slightly, reworded some of them so that they fit what I want to do. And I do actually have a couple of annual goals, I guess for lack of a better word. I have 3. I have a company that I'm working on starting, a health goal or 2, and then a writing goal. So those are my 3, what you would normally consider annual goals. Everything else is, well, everything's supported by intentions, but everything else just has intentions. This was something I sat down and did, oh gosh, a couple weeks ago. I had in Notion a list of all of my commitments and responsibilities, and I went ahead and went through and rewrote them and just kind of took a look at what I'm still doing, what I'm not doing anymore, so I was able to take a few things off. So next I kind of have projects. So I have a project list, and this is somewhat acting as almost a table of contents. So I have the Stations of the Nativity, which is a service I'm helping organize that's happening in about 3 weeks. I have some notes from the last meeting. This has to do with the writing project that I'm doing, so just some notes for that. I won't show you that, but that's information on a trip I'm taking in January. Business startup information, and then I have some to-do list pages. So if I want to just make a category name for a project and just write down a bunch of to-dos, I can do that. I have a list of books to be read, which in all honesty, these are the next book in a series that are far enough out that if I don't remember when they are released, then I won't remember to go grab them, so I have that. And then this is from the Anchored Women's website. Again, she has a printables library, and so it's a combination of like Bible study, marriage resource, family pages, all sorts of things. So this was something I printed out of that. So this next section, these are the dated inserts from Plum Paper. So I chose the goal grid version. Let me actually pull this out just so you can see what they normally look like. So this has the normal kind of overview page. On the regular version, it doesn't have these prompts, it just has like a notes page. I actually liked these prompts, so I went ahead and got the goal version of the grid layout. So you have 3 circles here. There isn't anything written up above. I know in the past it's had like goal 1, 2, and 3, but these are blank. Actually, let me show you. Nope. So this is what it looks like. So there's nothing on this page as far as in the circles. The reason I have page flags here is because I labeled them with the wrong thing and then wrote the wrong thing underneath it. So I needed to get that matched up again. So I have information about, you know, events that are happening, a spot for birthdays. I don't really have any birthdays that I know of in November. So this is something from the Steadfast Over Scattered planner. These are printables. They're normally letter size, so you can resize them to whatever. You saw these quite heavily in the half letter that I was using. So I have pulled pages that I really like out of that and put them in here. So this is her Home and Heart Plans page, and then November Goals and Focus. So this is kind of what I used to set my top 2 to 3 goals each month. And then there is the monthly layout. This is your standard monthly with a side column over here. Next month's calendar at the bottom. So this is, I'm just basically keeping an overview of everything that's going on. So this is what the grid layout looks like. I did not add any categories or customizations to it. The customization I have is that I took everything off. So you can label this, you can label this, and then you can put labels all the way down the side here. Because I'm planning to use this as either an area of focus, so like personal or home or that sort of thing, or project / goal, I want to be able to change these. So if I finish a goal mid-year or a project that I'm working on for several months, I want to be able to then switch it over to the next thing. So I just left everything blank. So what I started with was work, Instagram and YouTube, health, Daughters of the King, personal, and home. Then I realized I really don't like having work in with the rest of my stuff. I did leave it this last week because I was traveling for work and I only wanted to take one planner with me. But I have since moved my work stuff out and am using, well, I'm experimenting right now with the A6 Hobonichi original. I think I talked about that in my last video at the tail end, that I'm right now in a weeks, but I'm debating using the A6 cousin because I'm not using the actual week pages. I'm just using kind of as a bullet journal in the back. So it doesn't make any sense for me to have that. So that's what I'm playing with right now because I do have the 2022 versions. So I figure I might as well experiment with what I have and see if that's what I want to do for 2023. So this is, again, from Steadfast Over Scattered. This is her one-page bullet journal weekly overview. And how I'm actually using this is I'm folding this in half so that quickly I can still see kind of what's going on these pages, but I have an overview of the week. So this I'm trying to keep pretty much just for to-dos. You can see I wasn't thinking about it when I started writing these in, so I do have a few appointments in here, but I'd like to keep the appointments on this page. There is a spot for like top 3 for the week, meals, and then just a running task list. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep them here or if I'm going to keep them over on this side. I'll figure that out. On the back, there's a spot for prayers, priorities. You can do daily habits and then notes. So if I want to use those, I can flip it open to see it, but otherwise I'm just leaving it for the current week folded in half. And then when the week has passed, I'm just folding it open. So that's how I'm using these pages. And I think in this instance, Plum paper gives you essentially the first and the last week get duplicated in each. So the monthly color, you can see those are the remaining days in the month, and then the days for the following month, or in the case of the first week of the previous month, are grayed out. So it's kind of up to you how you want to use it. I'm sure some people will want to just fill out only November and then they'll flip to December and just do the December pages here. I am just going to go ahead and skip forward into December, mostly in this instance because I'm going to be out of town again, and that means I can pull November out of my planner. So that gives me a little more room. So at the end of the month, there's actually a review section. So what are my results, past month in 3 words, reason for the outcome, whether or not you hit your goal, challenges you faced, kind of a wellness scale, your monthly favorites, and then what you can improve on. I added a piece of dot grid. Again, this is from my plum paper stash that I just have a lot of random pages because when I finish with the planner, if I don't use it, rather than just recycling it all or throwing it all away, I pull out the pages that haven't been used, so that way I can use them in the future. I have notes for Christmas, and then this is something else from the Steadfast Over Scattered planner, is kind of a quarterly goal refresh, and just a place to kind of make notes for what you want to do, favorite meals, things you want to try, and then a spot for notes. So for the winter, it covers December, January, and February, which I actually like because by March, I'm ready to be like into spring. So, all right. So then I have December in here, kind of the same setup. I have the page from Steadfast Over Scattered, just the month in here as usual, which I haven't really filled out. I went ahead and stuck another grid page here and then a monthly cleaning checklist. This is something that you can get from Plum Paper. They'll intersperse it after the months if you would like it in there. I don't remember if you're coil bound, if they put it in the front or the back. I kind of feel like they might put it in the front, but I don't remember. But because I'm on disc, I always just rearrange all the pages anyway. So I have January, and I went ahead and put February in here since I was anticipating that November was going to be pulled out fairly soon. So this is kind of like my home and personal section here at the very beginning. So the second half is actually more of my YouTube channel / Etsy, all of that stuff. So more of like a business planner for my personal things that I'm doing. So I have a social media tab here. Again, don't have the social media stuff after this anymore. This is from the Anchored Women Business Planner. And just quickly, there's a spot for mission statement, target customer, product ladder, the big picture, goal breakdowns, important dates, monthly stats, recurring tasks, product pathways, And that's it. There is more to this planner. She has monthly pages and things. I just printed the parts and the pages that I needed and left it at that. This is one of the Plum Paper social media pages. This is the first page that they have. It had a lot of handy information, so I went ahead and kept it. And I also pulled in kind of when my audience is supposed to be online, so I kind of have an idea of the best time to post. So I kept all of this in here. After that, I have budget section, and the budget section is actually for my business. That's how I'm intending to use it. So it is not filled out yet, because I'm just going to start using it in January. So there's a spot for yearly cash flow, monthly assessment, and a monthly budget. And so you have those for all of the months. And then at the very back, you have a spot for my bills. So these are ones that probably pay the same amount every month, but then you can just check them off. And then there's a debt tracker in the back. The next tab I have here is notes. This is actually where I'm just putting the notes pages I've already filled out so I can find them quickly. I have a tab for checklists. So these are also from Plum Paper. I will probably start using these for videos just so I can track where I am in the process of getting videos out. And then this is actually something I pulled from Happy Planner. So I went ahead and bought a dashboard style Happy Planner. I think what I got was mid-year 2022 to December 2023. And it was on sale for $10, and I was like, why not? Because this is exactly what I needed, and I just wanted to pull certain pages out. So I did grab the beginning tracking pages, so this will give me the last few months of 2022 here, and then through the end of 2023. So I am playing with what exactly I want in here. So after the, what people call them currently pages, I have put in a blog planning page. This is the ones that get interspersed on the Plum Paper planners. I don't know if I'm going to use this. I have a bunch of them because I've had them inserted into a couple different planners over the years, but I have it here in case. So this is something I printed out of a Google Sheets social media planner. And I put it in here. It's very small, but it's good enough for what I need it for, just for a point of reference. So the monthly page I'm using just as a general time to plan out when I want to post things. I'm also noting like special days that I might want to do something with if I'm out of town, so I know that I'll need to plan ahead, that sort of thing. This is what the standard layout looks like. I've gone ahead and made a few modifications to it. So I'm using this top section here for video, kind of a list of things I need to film, photos I need to take, and then I just kind of a general to-do list, a spot for notes. Up here, I'm using this for kind of my YouTube schedule for that week. And then over kind of in the other daily pages, if I'm wanting to do, something specific for Instagram or whatever, then I have a spot to keep all of that information. So again, same thing at the end of the month, in between the months, I have the currently page. I have a blog planning sheet that I will probably not use because I feel like I'm repeating the information quite a few times. I just haven't figured out which page I want to use yet. And as soon as I figure that out, then I'll take out what I'm not using. I have another printed sheet for December, and then I have December's. I did go ahead and start writing things in pencil as far as what videos I want to post, because I have started to kind of move those around a little bit based on questions people are asking in response to other videos. So that's December. And I have January in here. And I was going to put in February, but I didn't quite have enough room. So as soon as November's done, I'll put February in. So everything's in there. I did just toss in the rest of these blog planning sheets at the end of the last month, so I had them handy. And then this notes tab actually is for notes. So these are just blank note pages that I can grab and put elsewhere in the planner. I have a couple of dot grid ones at the end. I have the pocket folder that comes with this, just in the back with a bunch of random pages and some notes. And then this is something I actually got when we went to Go Wild, which was the personalization guide. So if I go to order another planner in the future, I have kind of a list of suggested things I could potentially put in there. This was a set of stickers that came with the goal version. And then I have a pocket, a clear plastic pocket in the back here. And I just stick random things in here, kind of when I don't want it, you know, like potentially flying out of that pocket. So when I traveled, let's say the last time I had the Moxie Life 2022 Reflections workbook, actually in this, it fit just perfect. So it's kind of like all contained. So this is what I'm using right now, and it is a bit of a beast and I actually did take it with me when I traveled, but that's because I was doing a lot of planning for the rest of this year, beginning of next year, as far as content and kind of what I want to do with this channel, my Etsy store. I actually have a couple blogs that are not getting any attention right now, so I'm trying to figure out what exactly it is that I want to work on so that I can get myself organized. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions about the planner or what's in it, please feel free to leave those questions down below. I'm happy to answer those for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. If you enjoy this sort of planner related content, I encourage you to consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!